What's going on? What's up? Welcome back to NGB Talk. Here with me today on the Titans at Raiders pregame show. It's Mark from TitanUp Load. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Not much. Just living the dream. Just
This guy,
living the dream.
this guy right here is living the dream, and we are coming to you live today, and we are breaking down Titans at Raiders in the black hole, which I'm told is not a dome. So we will be talking about the weather. I don't know if you caught our last video, but we had a big mishap from NGB Talk, thinking that the Lucas Oil Stadium might be affected by the rain.
Yeah.
Anyway, so coming to you here, it's NGB Talk at NGB Talk. You find me on Twitter at TitanUpload 27. You can find this guy right here. You can find him on Twitter, always tweeting out all the cool Titans stuff. And this guy has a post-game show that is going to be happening 9:45 Central Time on his channel. What do you guys like to do on that post-game show, Mark?
Well, we just I'm somewhat a counselor, so we talk about things. Usually, it's positive if we win. Obviously, it's somewhat negative if we lose, but we try to keep it real. And there's a place for Titan fans to vent, so everyone's welcome.
Oh man, well, you know what? The whole Titans community appreciates you for opening up yourself to the venting session that is after a Titans loss, or maybe the great joy that is when the Titans win. And there's been a lot of winning as of late. 5 of 6 going into this game. There's still a few people that are trying to bet against the Titans in this one. I think it's just ludicrous, man. It's just crazy at this point. Raiders have lost 2 straight. Titans have won 3 straight. I get that the Titans maybe not the best team on the West Coast, but this is not a Titans team of old. This is a new found, completely different looking Titans team. Would you agree, Mark?
I would agree with that. I mean, Derrick Henry looks the same as the last Derrick Henry we saw last year, and Ryan Tannehill is, let's be honest, he's playing better than we've seen in a long time on this team. So you put them together, you get wins.
Hold on, Ryan Tannehill is looking probably the best he's ever looked in his entire career.
That's true, but as far as quarterbacks go for the Titans,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Can you name one better that's showed this performance over the last 15 years, 10 years?
Matt Hasselbeck had some decent play for a little bit. It was kind of serviceable. He was kind of a game manager. And then obviously 15 years ago, I don't know.
Billy Volek, maybe? He had a couple. Remember those games with Drew Bennett?
Oh, man, I was a young lad at the time, but I absolutely remember. I was so young, I was kind of at the point where I was like, why is Billy out here? Where's Steve at?
Yeah.
Billy had some good games, right?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video you can watch. It's Billy Volek in the Titans versus the Chiefs. It was like this crazy like
Wasn't that a Monday night game, I think?
It was like a Monday night game. It was cold and it was just nuts. So link to that is going to be in the description of this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Send it to your Raiders fans, friends, if you have any, and then send it to your grandma. And make sure that all the Titans fans in the world get to know about NGB Talk and TitanUp Load, covering all the Titans content. This, of course, is the Titans at Raiders pregame, and we're about to break it down for you guys. Back to what I was saying, though. Ryan Tannehill. If you look at Ryan Tannehill, his quarterback play, the time that the Dolphins went to the playoffs last, and he was actually injured and didn't make it, there were about 5 or 6 games in a row where he strung together pretty good play, and they were all wins. But it was not anything close to as efficient as he's been for the Titans these last 6 games. Exciting stuff for a Titans fan like myself, and for all Titans Nation. And I don't see it stopping on Sunday. So let's just get into it. I
gotta say thanks to Nicholas real quick, giving me a shout out.
What's up, brother?
Thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah, man, you know it. Anytime, brother. Thanks for being on the channel today. We got NGB's 3 keys to victory. Okay. This is what is going to take for the Titans to come in to the dark hole. The dark hole or black hole?
It's black hole.
It's a black hole.
We can call it
to the black hole and win. Hold on. We got a comment. Just want to give our comments some love. What's up, brother? Love hashtag Titans upload and Mark. Hashtag Titans upload. That's that works, right?
It works.
Yeah, we'll
take
it.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
We'll take it for sure.
Yeah, bring it on. So NGB's 3 keys to victory. The first one, tell me what you think about this one, man. We got to show up in the first half.
We're undefeated when we do, right?
We're undefeated when we do. Obviously, Mike Vrabel's got a crazy, something like 12-0 record when we're leading or tied in the half. And obviously, this team has blown up in the third quarter a couple games in a row. And this past game against the Colts blew up in the fourth quarter. It was a close game against the Jaguars. And then the third quarter, we exploded. It was, kind of a shootout against the Chiefs. But in the third quarter of that Chiefs game, if you remember, it was kind of like the third quarter was when things really started clicking. I'm thinking showing up in the first half is going to be really important against a desperate Raiders team. Do the Raiders have any chance of making the playoffs if they lose today?
Not realistically, no.
I mean, they're done. Like, it looks bleak now for them. So I imagine they're going to be going for it on fourth down. I imagine we're going to see some special teams trick plays, and I think the best way to shut all that stuff down is to have an amazing first half, a first half similar to the one we saw Marcus Mariota and the receivers put together in Atlanta, if you remember that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking that's the only way of making sure that a desperate team that is coached by John Gruden himself is going to be able to not be an issue, because they've got nothing to lose at this point. They have no reason, in my opinion, to play it safe. So that kind of scares me. So I imagine showing up in the first half, giving our receivers a big chance to get the yards after the catch, make a lot of touchdowns happen in the first half is going to be huge. And then, of course, Derrick Henry can take over in the second half. And then second key to victory, I'm thinking the receivers need a big day. I'm thinking the receivers need to come out and do something. I'm really there. I mean, the ones that are actually healthy are going to need to step up. We could see another great game by Khalif Raymond. You and I have been saying on these channels for a couple weeks that Corey Davis is going to have just a great game, and it's just not happened. And then AJ Brown, I think, needs to show up. And it is a Raiders team that does not do well against the pass.
28th. Yep.
28th out of 32 teams doesn't sound great. It seems like we should be able to see the receivers make something happen. Do you think we'll see anything out of Corey Davis today?
He's my pick to click. So yeah, I think he's a big game. Over 100 yards.
Over 100 yards for Corey Davis, man. I would love to see that. That would be so cool.
It's gonna happen, man.
It's gonna happen, man. We just gotta believe. Yeah. So I'd love to see Corey Davis come out there and do great. And I believe that's gonna be a key to having this big first half that really puts the Raiders away. And I'd really like to see that as far as them being able to build chemistry heading down the stretch, because they're going to have to put some points together and catch some balls, these receivers, if they're going to beat the Texans and the Saints. My third point is we're going to have to find ways to create pressure. I think that a part of maybe what makes this team seem like they don't get a lot of pressure and there's not a lot of sacks, that we're kind of stacking up. I think it's a part of the scheme. I think that we don't have, correct me if I'm wrong here, Mark, there are teams out there in the league that have talented individuals who really, really want to get after the quarterback, and they got players out there that really, really want to go after the sack totals. And then there are teams like maybe the Titans where the defensive lineman might pull back in order to make sure that they are able to stop the run. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily going to try and be a home run hit every single play, and that might be the reason that pressure doesn't seem like it's always there. I feel like that's what we have with the Titans. Correct me if I'm wrong there, though.
No, Daquan Jones. I mean, they just came out with an article. Was it TD or PK that basically stated how these guys are unnoticed. They're getting double teamed, but they're opening it up for the linebackers and other people to make plays. I look at Chicago, for example. How many games in a row? I think we're up to 5 maybe, or roughly, where Mac, who's one of the most dominant players in the league, has no sacks, but he's taking it like a champ. So I think for the Titans, like you said, this team, we don't have anyone that's consistently going to put pressure on the quarterback, and that's part of the problem. That's why Peace has to come up with all these different schemes, like Logan Ryan off the edge. But, Landry will show up every once in a while. He showed up in 2 big plays last week. But outside of him, and now that Wake's out, haven't heard much from Finch. Correa had a sack last week, so maybe with Brown being out, I'm sure you're going to get to that later. But, I think Austin Johnson's, Daquan Jones, these guys, unsung heroes for this team for sure. Then that's why we're doing pretty good against the run. 82 yards against Colts last week.
Man, that was a thing of beauty, right? Just to know that the Colts, who are great at running, were not able to run, and they hadn't allowed a single back run 100 yards or more. That was the thing of beauty last week to see that occur. That was one of my keys last week. Was we got to be able to run, and we got to be able to stop the run, and we actually did that. And I think it was a huge part of the reason that we were able to win. And so creating pressure, back to my point here, creating pressure, I think is going to be huge. I think that getting Derek Carr on the ground early is going to be huge. I think that's going to be able to help out our secondary, which is, completely obliterated at this point, decimated by injury. I think it's going to help them be able to do what they need to do today. So those are my 3 keys to victory.
Can I comment on that first key real quick?
Showing up in the first half.
Yeah. So I agree with you completely. And this is probably an easy way to get to a victory here, because you said it. The Raiders came in 6-4. They were playing really good. I mean, they won at Indy. They beat the Bears, which the Bears at the time were actually pretty good. Their defense was great at the time. And the last 2 weeks, I mean, it started at the Jets, 34-3. I mean, just pummeled. It's crazy. And last week, they play a little bit better, and they lose by 40. But you realize that the Raiders outgained the Chiefs. Mahomes was under 200 yards, and I believe McCoy was under 30 yards rushing. But yet the Chiefs still beat them by 40. So it is important. I think it would be very demoralizing, but the Raiders actually have a lot to play for. If they win against the Titans, they will be 7-6. The Titans will be 7-6. And guess who owns the tiebreaker now? The Raiders.
Probably the Raiders. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Steelers are going to be the bigger concern. But if you're a Raider right now, this game is huge for you. This is bigger than probably it is for us. But I just make the point that this game should be just as big for us. You know what I mean? Like you said, we can't trip up this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Are you? Well, we'll get to score prediction. But at one point in time in that Chiefs game, the Raiders, they were down, I think 35-3. And watching the highlights of that game, the Raiders choked. They just absolutely choked. There were a number of instances in which, just the play was there, or, it was easy to, from my perspective, it looked easy to not choke. But they just did. The moment was too big for them. Obviously, Chiefs are a good team, but just didn't happen. There was a pass that Mahomes threw, and I mean, very catchable ball. And for whatever reason, the cornerback just let the ball go right into his chest, into his arms, and then out. And there was a special teams fumble. And there was the pick six, of course, by Derek Carr. They just choked. And you're right. They played good ball, and they're not a bad team, and they could certainly do some damage to the Titans, especially with the depleted secondary like they have. And, the way the Titans defense has been playing, as of late, I would say, it's very much bend don't break. It's very much, we're gonna really shore things up around the goal line, and in the red zone. So, you're right. This is a good team, and they could do some damage. This is the biggest game of the whole season for them at this point.
Sure.
And they lopsided losses, but they're still playing. I just think they're kind of choking really bad. I don't know exactly why they lost to the Jets as bad as they did, but
they even, I mean, let's be honest too. If you go back in the stat line and just kind of throw this up, the Raiders. I mean, last week the Colts didn't give up a 100-yard rusher for how long, and Henry proved he could do that last week, which is awesome. He's got another tough task this week. The Raiders, in their 12 games, 2 backs have went over 100 yards, and it was early on with Cook with Minnesota, and then I think the last time they played the Chargers with what's his name? I can't think of his name now.
Gurley? Not Gurley, but Gordon.
Gordon. So those are the only two.
Or was it the other guy?
No, it was Gordon.
Gordon.
Yep. And both of them weren't over 110. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Bell had 49 yards rushing for the Jets and a 34-3 win. So they're gonna be pretty stout against the run. So we got to stay consistent.
Yeah, I believe you there, man. They're doing really good against the run, and those are 2 really good running backs. That they're not giving up all those yards to Leonard Fournette.
Yeah,
no, he's pretty good. he does a good job. Hey, let's go to the comment section. We got Tighten Up, guys. Let's go win this game tomorrow. Man, I'm so ready for this game to be won. It's gonna be so exciting, especially because I have so many friends in California that are Raiders fans.
Yeah, you're in enemy territory right now, Nick.
I'm swimming in it. There are so living in the Los Angeles area, there are so many Raiders fans, especially compared to how many Chargers and Rams fans there are. I would say there's a pretty good amount of like bandwagon Rams fans here, because as soon as they arrived here, they started winning, or the season afterwards anyway. And then there's just not a lot of Chargers fans anywhere. As provided evidence by all their games.
Yeah.
But there's tons of Raiders fans. People are crazy about the Raiders around here. Raider Nation. I got one guy that's telling me when the schedule came out, and he knew I was a Titans fan, because all I do at work is talk football. Drives everybody crazy. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Comment if you drive everyone crazy at work and just talking about football. And he was saying, "Hey man, did you hear the Titans started off the season 0-1? They already have a loss because they're playing the Raiders." I was like, you get out of here, man. I know you're swimming in Chicago Bear territory. That can't be much fun either.
They're back on the Trubisky train. Yeah,
they like Mitch. Let Mitch run. Let him go. Right.
Hey, fun fact: Derrick Henry and Trubisky in the same week, FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Week. Henry's actually got it the last 3 games, so that's impressive.
Dude's a beast. Love that guy. Brandon Ward, this is probably the biggest game of the year, honestly. To this point, we're in playoff territory. I don't know if you saw the TitanUp Load preview video, but the very first thing he says is Titans Raiders playoffs.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, no, but yeah, it kind of is playoffs. So I like it, man. Yeah, big game. And man, this is a good point. I was going to get to this stuff when I gave you my score projection. But speaking of score projections, isn't Adam Rank just a stinker? Man,
14-13
anyway.
This week. Yep. Got us
Adam Rank
losing.
Adam Rank thinks that the Titans are only going to score 13 points.
It could happen, though.
Where did he come? No. Can't happen. It cannot happen. The Titans played a horrible game against the Panthers, and they still put up like 25 points. Just get out of here with that. It's ridiculous. Whatever. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my words later. But
yeah,
I forgot what we were talking about. We were talking about the Raiders. I was talking about how my buddy's saying that we're gonna lose. I'm looking forward to a Titans victory. Here's NGB's big score projection. It's Titans win 35-17. And I made the mistake of not projecting the Titans to at least score 30 points the last couple weeks, and this one is absolutely going to come true. I don't think we're going to need Ryan Suckup to do anything. I think it's all going to be touchdowns, 5 of them, folks. I think it's going to be fantastic. Or is that 6? It's going to be a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah. Can Suckup make 5 extra points though?
You think I should take down to 34? Yes, he can make all the extra points. Get out of here, man. And then I think that the Raiders come out and get a few points. I think they'll probably just get maybe 10 or so in the fourth quarter. It's just garbage time. I don't think the Raiders will be able to do too much. Just have a lot of faith in the Titans right now. And I believe they're probably going to be going for it on 4th down a couple times. And I think the Titans will probably get the best of them a couple times on that. But that's my projection. What was your projection on your channel, Mark?
Actually, 31-27 Titans.
31.
So I think it's going to be some big plays in this game, unfortunately, and good for us and bad for us, right? So we don't usually give up a lot of big plays on defense, but with that secondary being a little thin and not getting after the quarterback, this could teeter-totter back and forth. Who would have thought I would have brought up teeter-totter? But I think the key thing here is, running the ball, stay true to who you are. Sure. And the defense will make some plays when we need them because we got too many good players on that defense. And then this is the game where I really think Corey Davis is going to go off. I mean, I'm predicting 100 yards. I am. So
love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Humphreys, is that going to hurt us? I mean, these are some questions that we'll get a little answered. And you know what? If Humphreys ain't playing, which he ain't, and that a lot of pressure goes on Raymond now to return kicks.
Yeah.
So that could take away a little bit of him on offense because he may be worried about that. I don't know. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. Could it be addition by subtraction? I don't know. I think Humphreys has been playing great and catches the ball really well. Wasn't so sure-handed at the beginning of the season, but I think, has gotten a lot better as time has gone on. But, does Raymond have a big day being the replacement? Or I know Tajay Sharp is questionable to play, but who do you think is going to be the number one kind of replacement of Adam Humphries? You think it'll be Raymond?
That's what everyone's saying. I just don't think it gets to that point a lot. Tajay Sharp's another one with a hamstring injury. Wouldn't be surprised if he don't play. Hollister made a couple catches last week.
That's right.
I mean, and we know him in the preseason. He played pretty well. We were excited about him.
The Tannehill to Hollister connection was huge in the preseason.
But you know what? Tannehill's just putting it on the money to any of these guys, as he showed that dart at the end of the game, which really, what a catch by Raymond. Did Taywan Taylor make that catch, Nick?
Could Taywan Taylor make that catch?
Does he make that catch in that situation?
Oh, no. Of course not.
You know what I mean? Probably not. So I like Raymond. This gives him a good chance. Yep. But let's be honest. If we're going to go out there and do what we do, it's probably not going to be all about Raymond anyways. Raymond will pop up. And a lot of people have said on different media outlets about how Tannehill and Raymond have this big trust factor. I think Raymond, correct me if I'm wrong, only probably has under 3 catches. So I get what they're excited. I'm excited too for Raymond, but let's keep it in perspective. It's Derrick Henry's team first. We'll see what happens with him. And then Tannehill's been making plays. So we'll just keep that same recipe. And A.J. Brown, it looks like we dodged a bullet there. Looks like he'll be a full go on Sunday as well. So
that's going to be great. Speaking of that play, man, we talked on this channel about how the coaching was, especially offensively, the coaching was a huge issue early in this season. What do you think about the way in which the coaching has turned around for these Titans these last 6 games? That play to Raymond, the reason it worked so well is because of the way and the offensive calling that had occurred throughout the game. And obviously the defense is expecting Derrick Henry to run every single play. And they're always watching out for that, and you always have to, especially in that situation. It being 3rd and 7, I think. 3rd and 7. It's not field goal territory. The Titans can either run Derrick Henry one more time and get rid of some clock, or they can try and go for it and risk not making it. And so the defense is having to, the defense of the Colts, they're having to think of all these things, and out of nowhere, it seems Arthur Smith dials up this pass, to Raymond, and it seems like all the offensive play calling to that point in the game had been leading to that moment in which they could just, get him with the dagger, as they've all been saying.
Yeah.
Thing of beauty, I think they were expecting, I think it was play action. He's rolling to the right. I think they were expecting a crossing route over the middle. And then it just didn't happen. It just went right to the end zone, into the hands of Raymond. So, I got to say, I'm really impressed with how the offensive play calling has been evolving over this season. And a lot of things we were saying during our video, in which we gave like a report card to everybody.
Yeah.
We had some very bad things to say about coaching, and the offensive coaching. I feel like we're seeing some big a big turnaround here now.
I think a little bit has to do with Ryan Tannehill. It'd be interesting, maybe for fun, we could go back and see if we come up with the same number. But how many times Ryan changes some sort of play? And usually what they say is you kill the play. So that's why they yell kill, kill. But they're basically only saying he changes it from a run to a pass option, or a pass option to a run, or switches which side you're going to run. Whatever he's doing, though, on the line, because he does it an awful lot. And I know that people were making a lot of points comparing him to Manning. Yes, slow your roll a little bit there, but I get what they're saying. He's totally Marcus did that somewhat. Yep. But maybe Tannehill's just that smart of a guy to know, hey, I need to run left, I need to run right, and maybe that has something to do with it too. And real quick, Vrabel. So I'm going to get on Vrabel here as a positive. Good coaching.
Vrabel.
Good leadership.
I'm gonna get on Vrabel now.
If you're a good leader, you don't make it about yourself. People in the background know about who's making these calls and decisions. Vrabel has never made it about himself. He's never thrown anybody under the bus. And I know at times we get mad at him for that. But maybe he had to pull Arthur Smith aside and say, you know what, we're going to try this. We're going to try this. And Arthur Smith's going to get the credit, like you mentioned, which I think Arthur Smith's doing a good job. Don't get me wrong. But I think Vrabel has way more of a grasp on this team. And you saw it in the locker room when they were celebrating. I mean, the team looks like they're fully bought into Vrabel. So sure. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, man. It's, being just a fan, never coached or anything. It's hard to know, just what his coaching style is, in comparison to others. When I hear sports commentators talk, they talk about how involved it seems as if he is in every phase of the team. It seems like at every moment of the game, he is dialed in, to what is going on, directing people, yelling at people. And, I don't know if that's just the way all coaches look, or it's a special thing about Vrabel. The guy's hands-on, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I'm impressed too. I'm impressed too. With the way he does it. And obviously he's the one that, anytime things go wrong, he'll always take the blame. And anytime things go right, he'll point out someone else that did the right thing, So
yeah,
you gotta love the guy. You gotta respect the guy for that a lot. And that's one more thing about Vrabel. And this was interesting. And this, I think, will play a big part in this victory that the Titans are about to have. Is just something he mentioned in like a post-game conference or conference after practice this week was, we have selected guys. We've gone out and sought after players that we know were not typically the number one guy where they came from. We wanted to have guys that are used to being able to have to claw their way back into victory, so that they can handle defeat and so that they can be resilient. It was an interesting thing. Just a little something. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it was a really, really interesting comment that he made. And, just, another reason to love the Titans, love this team. And a couple other things we're going to talk about as we kind of wrap things up. We already kind of talked about this. Which pass catcher do we think will have the best day? You're thinking Corey Davis. I'm hoping Corey Davis for sure. I think it could be another AJ Brown day just because, he's been hot. When the offense,
I think the Raiders are going to key on him. I think AJ Brown's earned that respect now. He's getting a lot more pub around the league. He's been popping up various different sites around the league. I think they're going to come try to stop him. And, you know, an X factor too, real quick. And you want to say, I think it's going to be Corey Davis, but we haven't heard much from Jonnu Smith lately.
Yeah, so, he's due for a good one for sure. For sure, I'd love to see Jonnu take off today. How many rushing yards do we think King Henry is going to get? I'm gonna say against. I said 125 last week, and he ended up getting 149. And you know, it's a Colts team that's really good against the run, and we got another Raiders team that's supposedly really good against the run. I'm gonna say 150 again. It's Derek. It's Derek's season. You know, the guy's a beast. What do you think, man? 150? Am I crazy for thinking 150 again?
You can't be crazy against Derrick Henry. The only way Derrick Henry, I mean, he's running 5-some yards per carry.
It's amazing.
But you can't predict injuries. We know this, right? But what I would say is I'm going to go with you from last week. I'm going to go 125 this week.
125. That's because
I think Tannehill's going to do a little bit more through the year. Don't be surprised Ryan Tannehill puts over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Whoa, okay. Hey,
I'm sorry. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I think. Man. You agree, too. You said, where are these 5 touchdowns coming from, Nick? All defensive or what?
Well, obviously, an offensive lineman's going to get 1 touchdown.
That's a given.
They'll probably have Ryan Tannehill run one in. You know, who knows? They might pull a Saints and get 3 quarterbacks on the field at once, and Marcus Mariota will run one in. Who knows? You know, take a little page out of Sean Payton's playbook. And obviously, I think that either the defense or the special teams will get a touchdown too. So that's where the 5 touchdowns will come from. Okay, man. Just think about it. All right. Let's see. Just taking a look at comments. Tighten up. Anyone else want to guess how many yards Derrick Henry will get? You get all of the kudos and all the bragging rights if you guess it right on the money. So I'm going 150 this week.
Hey, real quick. This is a perfect segue. He's actually in the green room. I didn't tell you about him, but my son wants to give a prediction on the score. His name's Houston. So with Dallas stepping up and saying tighten up, what a perfect segue, right?
Dallas, tighten up. So what's up, Houston?
But he's nowhere to be found. Houston, where's he at? Here he comes.
Houston, let's see the projection.
All right, here he is. He wants to give a projection. Go ahead, buddy. Speak in the mic.
Hi.
Speak in the mic.
What's up, Houston?
Come closer.
I think the Titans are going to win.
Gonna speak up, man.
Because they're better.
Nice.
Titans are going to win because they're better?
Yeah, let's score.
28-42.
All right. Wow. Thanks, man. You hear that? He said 42-28 Titans.
42-28?
It's his first ever prediction, and it's on NGB Talk. How about that?
Oh, my goodness. This is amazing, folks. This just in. Houston's big projection, 42-28. This is going to be a big game.
Did you hear his reasoning?
Because the Titans are better?
Because they're better.
Hey, man, that's good.
That's all that matters.
Man. Sign this guy up, man. We could probably get 3 screens going here. We can have.
Did you see that guy real quick? He dresses. I haven't heard from him lately, but they dress him up as the Macho Man Randy Savage, and he gives his Titans predictions. This was going like one.
I saw this guy. This is awesome.
But then, have you seen him lately? Since the Titans have went down, and now they're back up, obviously. But this would have been right around where Mariota got benched and he was done. We really never heard from him again. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he made some crazy predictions. He predicted we would win in Atlanta, and then that's kind of the last time I heard from him. But that's kind of a cool thing.
Randy Savage. Let's check in on the comments here as we
we're getting some comments here.
We wrap things up. I think people are starting to wake up now, Mark. Phil thinks, I think in the past when things didn't go well, Henry, we try to switch things up too much, like trying to make Deion Lewis an every down back for an entire. I know, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this coaching staff has grown a lot, and they've realized what they have in Derrick Henry. Seems like, and obviously, a lot of people have been saying around the league that the last 16 games for Derrick Henry have been amazing. 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, just going off. And really, we've kind of realized, our victories will be, through Derrick Henry's cleats. Speaking of cleats. 225 yards.
Wow. Sign Brandon up.
My cleats, my cause week last year. It was 99-yard touchdown run. Brandon, Yeah, man. I'm all about it. 225 yards. That would be amazing. Hold on. He's already at 1100. So another 225. Man, this guy would be getting close to CJ2K territory at that point.
Have we seen his cleats for this week? Have you seen him? Brandon brings up a great point. I totally forgot about the My Cleats thing. So
I haven't seen him. I know that I think it's Dennis Kelly might be wearing some custom cleats.
Okay.
Someone on the O-line, I think, is wearing some fancy looking cleats. But I don't know about Derrick Henry particularly. But 225 yards. Man, if you're right, I'm happy. Very happy. I hope he save some of that for the postseason, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And Phil here thinks that we need to stick to the identity. Yeah, man. And not turning our offense upside down completely. Yeah, heard that, brother. So we love the projection from Houston. And my last little thing that will kind of end things on here. What will the playoff race look like after this weekend? So we got a couple things to look out for. Number one, Steelers versus Cardinals in Arizona. That's
which
huge.
helps. Yeah.
Personally, I'm not afraid of the Steelers with their third string quarterback.
No.
Obviously, he's beat out Dude Bro, and Duck Hodges is playing better than what was that guy's name? Mason Rudolph. I'm not afraid of the Steelers in the slightest. I'm just ready for them to start taking their losses. Obviously they're so well coached. Mike Tomlin is turning, is getting diamonds out of doo-doo here. It's amazing that the Steelers are in it at all. And obviously they're red hot after winning, I think, 6 of 7 or 5 of 6. I don't know.
Yeah, they started what, 1 and 3?
1 and 4. 1 and 4 is what they started. It was insane turnaround for them. Obviously, just like the Titans, 2 and 4. But the Steelers lose, things are looking good. The Raiders lose, things look great, right?
Yeah. As the Titans win.
Yeah, and the Bills. Obviously, I think the Bills.
You ain't catching the Bills.
I don't think there's any catching the Bills. But the Bills, they'll play the Ravens, so that'll be interesting. But the playoff race, I think it comes down to these two games. Obviously, we'd like the Colts to lose as well.
Yep.
So we can't forget that the Colts have to lose too. And finally, the Texans are playing who? Do you remember?
Denver.
Texans are playing Denver. Is it in Denver?
It's in Houston, but Drew Lock,
that new quarterback of theirs.
Yeah, this is the guy that was linked to the Titans. You remember in the before the draft broke out, we were supposedly very high on Drew Lock, and you know what? I think we honestly were. Now, if you read between the lines in this whole thing, it did not look like the coaching staff had much faith in Marcus Mariota, and that was a Miss Amy call that basically forced the Titans to give him one last chance. But it looks to be some truth in that statement.
Yeah, so with Drew, I'm thinking the Broncos
have a shot.
The Broncos want to see what they got. They want to win with him, right? They want to see, let's let this guy get some experience. So the Broncos are going to try and win. They're not going to be, trying to get some low draft pick here and trying to lose out. I think they're going to try and see what this kid can do. So if you're a Houston fan, I think you should be scared because the kid will
know, right? We'll know at 3 whether the Texans won or not, which helps.
So that'll be fun.
Fans.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see. Obviously, if the Saints continue to win, that makes their Week 16 game against the Titans a little, more and more nebulous. Because they won't necessarily be playing for position anymore. And just it's really lucky that we're getting a Saints team that has already clinched the NFC South, that at this point is only playing for, home field advantage in the playoffs. So, it's kind of lucky there. So, this could be a crazy weekend for the Titans as far as where they go in the AFC playoff race.
If you look, we're getting some comments here piling up. You got Jenner's made a nice prediction. Mendez left a comment. Crawford. We got a lot going on, man. So I would just say real quick, and now Phil's commenting again. Your NGB talk is on fire right now. So,
oh yeah, hey, this is the place to be, folks. Especially, for me, it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Yeah, interesting point about the Saints. I know I got all kinds of interesting points. Thanks, Phil. You're the man. We're thinking that Steelers are going to lose. Yeah, man. So interesting, fun stuff to see this weekend. It's it's one of the best times of the year for football for sure.
Hey, I haven't looked. I don't know. I haven't talked to you. I'm just thinking of stuff sporadically here. What about this week? And maybe we can see what the people think in the comments, or your subs or my subs or anything, our subs, Titan subs, whatever. But what about doing maybe a special at some point here on the contract situation? Because I think that's very important. Tannehill and Henry, right?
Sure.
So Floyd Reese, former GM for the Titans, had some interesting comments. ESPN came out with an article this week about quarterbacks and where they're projected to go next year. So Mariota and Tannehill were on the list, obviously. And then just breaking down playoffs. So we'll talk off air, but just so I don't forget, I think that'd be pretty interesting to get into.
Oh man, let's definitely do it. And then we could take a look at the what the salary cap looks like for the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
We could make some projections about who we thinks gets the contract, who we think may not be able to make it. They're trying to trim some of the fat. Obviously the Titans are a team that likes to pay the people that show up and play well, which is awesome. Love to have an organization like that. So let's definitely do that. If you guys want us to make a video on either one of our channels about the contract situation going into next year, maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but maybe it's just too much fun stuff to talk about. For right now, this is the Titans pregame video. Again, make sure to share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate everybody being here. Any last second thoughts there, Mark, before we let the people go?
I would say this real quick. 6'6", tight end from the Raiders, who
Waller
is putting up tons of stats this year. Yes, Waller didn't do anything his first couple of years, so I don't know if there's an injury history.
At the Ravens?
Yep, he was drafted as a Raven. But my point is, he is tearing it up. He has under 1,000 yards in his career, and he's got almost 900 this year. So we don't play well against big tight ends. So that will be something. I'm not scared of him beating us, but what I'm saying is it might be nice to get us a little practice, get us, these tight end or these linebackers a real match this week with a good tight end. Just like I think Doyle's a good tight end too from last week. But my point is, like,
when he can hold on to the ball,
we're going to face these kind of guys in the playoffs, especially with Kelsey if we get a chance at him. And so let's definitely see what we got. The
Ravens tight ends are all just beasts, right?
So we'll see what this team's made of this week for sure.
Yeah, it reminds me. I'm reminded of the Atlanta game when I believe is it Cooper or Hooper? That big old tight end for the Falcons.
Over 100. Yeah.
He had a day against the Titans. It was a part of kind of their bend but don't break. Obviously, Julio Jones did not have a great game. Mohamed Sanu did not have a good game. Guys got their yards. But a part of the kind of the scheme, it seemed like for the Titans that day was just to allow their tight end to catch it in the flat and get a couple yards, but don't let them score touchdowns. And obviously they really didn't. But this will be a huge test for the Titans. Just see Byard and
Vaccaro, they're going to have to
Hooker
step up.
on him. We're going to need to see Amani Hooker make actual tackles on this tight end, unlike in week 2 versus the Colts.
Yeah. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
But interesting point to end on there. Hope you didn't jinx us there, sir.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's going to win the game he could, but I just think it's going to be a matchup worth looking into. You know what I mean?
It'll be worth looking into for sure. This is NGB Talk. This guy right here. This has been. Gosh, I can't ever get this right. This has been Mark from TitanUp Load. Thanks for being on the comments, guys. Go Titans. Tighten up. Appreciate it, you guys, for being here. And we'll see you after the game on Mark's channel, 9:45, for the post-game show. See
Thanks,
you later,
guys. Tighten up.